So Dan, a landlord generally owns the property he or she is renting, right?
Correct.
So does that mean the landlord can rent to whomever he or she wants?
No. Under the Federal Fair Housing Act, a landlord cannot refuse to rent to someone because of gender, race, religion, national origin, color, physical or mental disability, or familial status. This is housing discrimination, and it is illegal. To clarify, familial status includes having minor children in the home or pregnancy. Disability includes disabling diseases that are not easily contagious, such as cancer or AIDS. Under Alaska law, it is also illegal for a landlord to refuse to rent to someone because of marital status or a change in marital status. Moreover, in Anchorage, it is also illegal to refuse to rent to someone based on age.
But how would I know if I'm being discriminated against? Couldn't the landlord just be renting to someone else?
There are a few things you can look for that might be signs of discrimination. For example, if you're setting up a meeting with a potential landlord, and when you get there, the landlord says that the place was just rented to someone else, or if the landlord attempts to charge you more rent or a higher deposit than advertised, or if the landlord says an apartment is rented, but you can tell it is obviously vacant. All of these can be signs that the landlord is engaging in illegal housing discrimination.
Can the landlord refuse to rent to me just because I'm poor?
A landlord is allowed to ask for references and can choose not to rent to people if he does not think they will be able to or will not pay rent on a monthly basis. A potential landlord can also refuse to rent to someone because of a personality conflict or other reasons, as long as the landlord does not discriminate on the basis of one of the categories I just discussed.
So what should I do if I suspect that housing discrimination is taking place?
If you suspect you are being discriminated against on the basis of race, sex, religion, disability, or any other protected category, you can contact the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development or the Alaska State Commission for Human Rights. In Anchorage, you can contact the Anchorage Equal Rights Commission. In addition, you can speak to an attorney at Alaska Legal Services Corporation's Fair Housing Enforcement Project at 1-855-679-FAIR. All of these agencies can investigate your complaint and determine if there are additional steps that should be taken.
What about once I'm in the apartment and I suspect that the landlord is illegally discriminating against me?
If you are being singled out for different treatment and you suspect it is because of race, sex, religion, disability, or another protected category, this is illegal and you should contact one of those agencies I just mentioned. They can investigate your claims and may be able to help you get the landlord to change its discriminatory practices.
What rights does a tenant with a disability have if he or she needs a change in a lease rule, such as having a service animal in an apartment that does not allow pets?
The law requires that landlords provide a reasonable accommodation for tenants with disabilities. This means that the landlord may have to change a rule or policy so that a person with a disability can use and enjoy her residence the same as someone without a disability. For example, a landlord must allow a person with a disability an assistive animal, like a therapeutic or service animal, even if pets are not allowed. Or a person with a disability that affects his ability to walk would be entitled to a reasonable accommodation for a reserved parking space near his unit.
Okay, thanks.